Hey everyone, Tim with Collect Jurassic. We're back with another unboxing Mattel Jurassic toys. Today we're looking at a new release that hasn't quite hit the States yet. I actually got this from France, but it's a Target exclusive here in the US and will be coming out in August. It is the Camp Cretaceous Raptor Squad, again part of Mattel's Dino Escape 2021 toy line. And this is a pretty nifty set here. You get all 4 Raptors from the Raptor Squad, and we're gonna, obviously take them out of the box and take a look at each one. But I'm also going to do a bunch of comparisons to previous versions of each figure. That's Blue, Charlie, Delta, Echo. So bear with me. I'm probably going to name them wrong sometimes, but I'll do my best with the comparisons, and we'll definitely get to see how each of these dinosaur designs has sort of evolved through Mattel's lifetime with the license. So this is the box, though. It's a big open-ended box with this sort of like step thing. Honestly, I'll be totally honest, it's kind of a cheap box. It's sort of like already crushed. It doesn't have a lot of support. We've seen some really cool boxes out of Mattel since Primal Attack and even with Dino Escape, but this one feels kind of cheap. The whole thing sort of like flexes and moves. It's like, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. It's got this weird sort of step display, which I guess is cool, but I would have loved like them all in the same like row and maybe like a windowed box or something, but that's just me as a collector. I'm sure kids will get after these figures they can touch in the store, but I don't know. The box feels kind of cheap to me, but at least you get to see all 4 Raptors on display. On the back, they also have the renders, which is helpful as it's a guide for what we should call each Raptor, since it's not always super obvious. Always obvious with Blue. Also have Echo, Charlie, and Delta, which again, we'll definitely get a closer look at when we get them out of the box. But I think that's enough looking at the box for now. Let's go ahead and start popping these figures out. Let's go ahead and start with everyone's favorite, which is Blue right here. This Blue figure I've covered in a couple other videos, but just in case you haven't seen those videos, I will cover it again here, as well as do the comparisons. So this is the new Blue figure. It's an Attack Pack repaint. You're also going to get this figure when you do the camper pack with Darius. But here it is again. It is a slightly updated Blue figure from some of the other Attack Pack figures we got, and I can show you what I mean. So this is Blue. We go all the way back and get all the other Blues out. Let's see. Let's start with oldest on the right, and then we have the figure that came before that, and the figure that came before that. It's going to get crowded here with Blues. And then we have the figure that came before that, and then the figure that came before that. So that's every version of Blue, if I'm not mistaken, that Mattel has created. Some of them have very slight differences, mainly the Attack Pack. Some of them have a little bit more differences, but the main thing we want to look at here is these last 2 versions of Blue for comparison. So this is the version of Blue that came with the Stratosaurus Clash set, which was a little harder to find. So if you're not familiar with this figure, that's understandable. But, oh man, my battle damage Blue won't stand up. So that's the Blue that we got most recently. And this is the Blue that I just opened out of this 4-pack. And you can already see there's a lot more detail in this newer figure. The biggest kind of obvious change is that tan underbelly, which actually makes this new figure look quite nice. You also have painted toe claws, whereas the other Attack Pack figure had no such thing painted here. We also have a white stripe that goes and highlights the blue stripe. You can see that. You can really see it right there on the other side. The previous Blue figure literally just has a blue stripe. There's no highlighter or anything like that. It's literally just a blue stripe. So these figures otherwise are exactly the same mold detail and everything. It's just that paint application on the new figure right here that makes it look just a little bit nicer. If you really want to get into the nitty gritty with the Attack Pack comparisons, there's also the very first Attack Pack Blue over here. It might look like it's exactly the same as the middle one, but actually the leg position's different. At some point, the Attack Pack Raptors got a less bend in the knee. It's very, very subtle, but it's there nonetheless. See how over here her knee is bent pretty dramatically. And on this figure, it's a little bit straighter of a posture. It's very slight, but it's something they did change, make a running change for it. But otherwise, these three blue figures are pretty much similar. The other blue figures we have, of course, are the Jumping Blue, which has never been my favorite sculpt of Mattel's Raptor. It's got giant feet. Doesn't look anything like blue. It has like these weird crests on the nose, which we know are because this was a Jurassic Park 3 Raptor at some point that got repurposed for other uses. And then we have the Battle Damage Blue, which I think a lot of people will agree. This is the best blue you can get. It's got awesome articulation on the neck. It's got like ball joint legs and hinged arms, so you can do all kinds of stuff with it. Just way more posable. But look what it has. It has that tan belly, just like the new Attack Pack Raptor, and that white highlight on the stripe. So paint-wise, it's actually very similar to this new Velociraptor figure. Very similar. It just got a little bit more articulation on it, especially that neck hinge. I love the neck hinge. Just love how you can make it move around. It also has painted claws, too, for what it's worth. But the newest blue figure is definitely one of the better ones in terms of paint. Kind of makes the other ones before it obsolete. So, but you can see here through the ages, like Mattel has done pretty well keeping blue looking consistent from figure to figure. There isn't really too much of a change. Oops, I got these out of order. But she always is cast in the same gray plastic, always has the same blue stripe. It's just a question of whether it's highlighted or not. And then when she does have a tan belly, as she does on 3 out of the 5 figures, you know, that always has the same tan on the belly for these ones. So that's blue. That's the new blue, which again is available in the Darius pack. Blue, come back. The review's not over. So that's the new blue. Everyone's favorite trained Raptor figure, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at, I think this is Charlie up here. I suppose I should check, but no, I'm pretty sure this is Charlie. I think this is Echo and this is Delta. We can definitely look on the back of the box just to make sure, right? Let's go ahead and pop that one out. We'll go ahead and look on the back of the box. Yes, that is Charlie. So I am correct. Whew. Always tricky with this Raptor Squad. So here she is. Here is Charlie. It's in the crouching raptor pose. It's got this really nice green stripe on it. Articulation wise has all the same articulation that most crouching raptors have with the arms and the legs. But it really, even though you can pose it, anything beyond it crouched on the ground, it kind of looks like it's dying or something. It looks better when you have it posed as intended, which is crouched low to the ground. What's interesting about this figure, though, when we talk about comparisons, is it actually is consistent with a couple different previous versions of Charlie here. But so this is the latest version right here, crouching, right? We also have a version of Charlie that we got with the Ceratosaurus Clash set, which is right here. So you can already see that the colors are pretty similar. And then we also have the Savage Strike Charlie, which again, pretty similar colors, right? And then finally, we have the very first Attack Pack Charlie over here, which looks nothing like the other ones. It's kind of like that game, which one doesn't belong. I love this paint job on this figure for sure, but it definitely doesn't look like the other Charlie Raptor Squad. It's still a cool Raptor, though. But yeah, starting with the Savage Strike, they kind of adopted this green coloration and stuck to it. Now the stripes on them are all different. You can see this one has sort of like tiger stripes. This one has a little bit more of like almost the same pattern as this one, just a different color, but sort of more modeled. And then we're kind of back to stripes, but they're really big stripes on this one. So the other thing I thought was worth noticing was for this one that came with the Ceratosaurus Clash set, no painted underbelly. The eyes are pretty standard, just the standard yellow raptor eyes. But on these two, the new one and the Savage Strike, we have painted underbellies. Even the bottom colored jaws, the same color plastic. And if you can see, the eyes are that yellow eye that's a little bit different than the yellow eye on this other raptor. So these two Savage Strike and the new Attack Pack figure definitely match really well. This one's close with the green, and of course the very first Attack Pack, who knows where that one came from. So this one's obviously an all-new pose, still an Attack Pack. It's just the crouching pose, but you know, you can see Mattel kind of figured out what they wanted to do with Charlie and kind of stuck with it, and they're bringing it with this latest figure. I really like how it matches the Savage Strike again. That's a nice touch right there. I like that. So that's Charlie. Looks like Mattel sort of has Charlie figured out, and maybe the next few figures we'll get this coloration. What's interesting is that Charlie and the Amber collection looks nothing like this. So who really knows, right? Who really knows what Mattel will do next with the Attack Pack? So that's Blue and Charlie. We'll go ahead and get let's go ahead and get Delta out. Delta is kind of a wild card when it comes to comparisons, for sure. You'll see that here, but I gotta say, I do love these new colors. So Delta is free at last. I love these colors. I don't know if I love them as Delta, but as a Velociraptor, these are unique and new, and they feel very Dino Escape-y. We have these sort of more subtle, natural tones instead of something more vibrant this year for Dino Escape. Yeah, I love this figure. I love it's got like a painted underbelly. The jaw's a different color too. Mouth kind of has trouble opening and closing. It's kind of loose. The other figures didn't have that, but this one seems like it has a little bit of, it's working okay. It's a little loose. I don't know if you can tell. Anyway, cool colorations on it. It's got like little stripes on the legs on both sides, just like some striped paint, and then sort of an irregular organic paint job on the back. But I just love how they painted this lighter underbelly on all these figures. It looks like have a painted underbelly. So a little bit extra paint budget on this one. So this is the new Delta figure. Now, shall we compare it with Delta figures that came before it? Let's go ahead and do that. So this is the new one. This is the Savage Strike Delta that came before it. And then we also have the very first Attack Pack Raptor Squad that wasn't blue, Delta as well, part of the Dino Escape line. So let's go ahead and compare those two figures and see how far Delta has changed just since Dino Rivals. I mean, these were both supposed to be Velociraptor Delta, and they couldn't look any more different. Different paint applications, different stripes, different eyes, different everything. Really, there's really no comparing. They are supposed to be the same Raptor, but you can tell that you know, Mattel sort of reinvented the wheel when they made this newest version. I would say that this version of Delta is probably, in my opinion, the closest to the movie, the Savage Strike version. It also is the closest to the Amber Collection figure, for what it's worth. But even these, you know, at least are a little bit you know, closer. Not really. I don't know why I'm saying that. I guess it doesn't look as drastic as the jump from this one to this one, but still a pretty drastic jump. I love this Delta figure. Again, it's like probably my favorite out of all the Deltas. It's one of my favorite Raptor figures, honestly. I just love the colors, and the articulation on these Savage Strike figures is always a little bit more at $10 than these $8 Attack Pack figures. But that's all three Deltas for you to judge there. Again, they have nothing in common. They are literally just three random Raptors, and I do think we've already found the perfect paint coloration for Delta, so I don't know why the perfect one being this one. I don't know why they decided to reinvent the wheel, but I'm glad they did, because it is kind of a fun, different color that I'm not used to seeing for Delta. So that just leaves Echo. So we'll go ahead and break Echo out and put this box aside. And then maybe we'll do some overall comparisons for all the figures. So there is Echo. I'm going to double check my names one more time so I don't make a fool of myself. Yes, that is Echo. We'll go ahead and put that box aside. So here's Echo. It is another crouching Raptor pose, similar to Charlie over here from the same pack. But yeah, I got the painted underbelly like the other ones. Just like the crouching figures, it has articulation, but it's really like not worth posing it, because again, any pose you do with it is going to look awkward. It's kind of meant to stay in one pose. Even though it's articulated, I recommend just keeping it in the crouching pose. But yeah, I actually dig this figure. It's got a very like reddish brown feel. It's very dark. It really pops against the other 4 Raptors. But let's go ahead and compare it to the versions of the figure that came before it. I'm going to go ahead and put these guys way in the foreground so we don't get too confused with them. So here is the newest version of Echo. This is the Savage Strike version of Echo we got last year. Both are this one's Camp Cretaceous. And then we have the very first Echo. Again, these colors are just wild. They don't really make sense. This one would almost make more sense as a Charlie. But at least it's the same crouching pose, right? But I would say that these 2 figures right here, Savage Strike and the brand new one, they at least do share some similar pattern and like darker red tones. And that painted sort of underbelly with the different colored jaw. So these Raptor figures are at least look like they were kind of designed from the same sort of inspiration. I don't know if it's accurate to Echo, but they were at least designed from the same inspiration. And this one's just a total wild card. This Raptor has always been sort of infamous for being completely wrong and sort of a shelf warmer at that, because you know, I don't think the crouching Raptor pose is that popular anyway. I kind of wish Mattel would move on from it. And then just being so inaccurate, like looking nothing like Echo. You know, I feel like people passed on it. But, you know, the Raptor Squad as a whole has, you know, been all over the place, which is kind of what this video is about. Is just showing sort of how different some of the colors are. But that's all 3 of them. Again, these 2 really do match, so there is some consistency there. And that kind of brings us to all 4 Raptors opened here. I'm going to go ahead and put blue in the middle of my little end video pose here, but let's go ahead and get everyone crowded in the frame. That's every new Raptor figure for this new Camp Cretaceous pack. Again, it'll be exclusive to Target, but let's go ahead and get all of our other friends in here. We have all of our different Charlies through the years. We have our different Deltas through the years, which don't look quite as consistent as Charlie. We also have all of our Echoes over here. And then, of course, who can forget Blue? Easily the most plentiful out of all the figures is Blue. We have so many different Blue figures. If you don't count repacks, with repacks, we have even more. Repacks being like the exact same figure. They just came out multiple times. But no, I almost had it perfect. That is every Raptor Squad figure to date. Now, is it every Raptor figure? No, there's tons of Mattel Raptor figures. And I was going to do a video of all the Raptor figures. Oh, man. Guys, I'm making this worse as I go. The more figures I touch, the more fall over. But there's just so many Mattel Raptor figures. I mean, this is just the Raptor Squad alone, and there's tons of them here. But you can see that there's been a lot of different colors. These are supposedly all renditions of the same 4 dinosaurs, same 4 movie characters. But, you know, Mattel's had a lot of fun with kind of coming up with different colors. But for now, these 4 right here in front are the latest version of their 3 3/4 Raptor Squad. Again, these will be available in Target in August. I think that the pack is like $29.99. I think you can pre-order it on Target.com. You can check out more information for that on Collect Jurassic. But I think that's all I have for today. I'm Tim with Collect Jurassic, and I'll see you next time.